I think we should just take a moment to relax and understand. Look, because
my favorite word is relax. I just want to make sure you remember that.
Yeah, so let's just take a moment to relax and just look at it logically, right?
Because we not.
I mean, I'm sitting here telling you, if we don't have access to, I have to. It's my perspective.
First of all, I take major issue with the idea that we needed to relax. I take major issue that we needed to think about it logically. I take major issue with the idea that we needed to be reasonable as I sit here calm with my hands folded. Nonetheless, the suggestion that because it doesn't passively come across your desk means you should not care about it or approach it or jump at the idea of being more involved, that's the problem, right? We're saying that y'all need to be more than just passive, clickbait type people. We want y'all to be concerned.
All right.
And concern means go look it up and get involved.
So I'm going to ask you a question now.
I don't think America really cares about the plight of black women. You know what I'm saying? I don't think America really cares about the plight of the black community in general. But if you tell our black women, like, oh no, y'all do this on your own. You got this. Don't look to them for anything. And then that same system is the one that's reaching out trying to crush you. You know what I'm saying? That's why they feel so alone. That's why they feel because that's the game plan. They just run in plays. Yeah. But I think, again, we all accountable. Even the black community, we accountable because we are party to it. We are aware of it, especially for those of us who are educated. So it's on us. And that's the reason why I thank you for having shows like the podcast. We need to have more of these conversations. We can't say that these kids aren't our best shot. So we need to do everything that we can to protect them so they don't have to go through the same things that we going through. I think the best way for us to do that is black unity.
Welcome to the Chicago Black Delegation podcast. I'm your host, AC, aka High Thinking. And on this show, I select from my collection of thought-provoking brethren to talk about the social, economic, and otherwise issues that contribute to the toxicity of black Americans. So, if my guests can introduce themselves, starting with what you want to lift.
Like it or not, act the great through Willie.
I'm just Sabrina.
Joe.
On this episode, we're gonna be talking about the protection of black women. I wanna get the ball rolling by saying this: black women, the authentic ones, arguably the most spiritually in tune group on the planet, confirmed by science that have been the matriarch of the earth. Despite that, as told by Malcolm X himself, black women are the most disrespected and unprotected group in at least the United States. Unfortunately, according to studies, this rings even to today. We at the Chicago Black Delegation cannot push the conversation forward without strategizing the protection of the black woman. So, on this show, the Chicago Black Delegation, I will always start every show by asking simple identifying questions. So whoever want to get the ball rolling first, what will you all say to be the biggest danger to black women in America?
I'm gonna let Joe go first.
Oh, ladies first. So what's up?
Ladies first.
I mean, first off, I guess to know, I mean, the most dangerous thing is, first off, people knowing that they're dangerous. A lot of times people don't even know that the little stuff that they think is okay is actually dangerous. And they don't know what kind of harm that they put in people in.
Respectable. So can I get like one example of that? Bad. Something like maybe like the food, or maybe like just the simple presence.
Okay, so here we go. So a lot of black men's protect black women only consist of protecting black women that they know personally. So, you know, they could see, I could be walking down the street and you might not know me personally, but you see that there's somebody following me and it's suspicious, or I'm trying to get them away from me. But because you don't know me personally, you just gonna let it go. Mm-hmm. Where was the protection?
Yeah, that is true. That's tough, especially in a place like Chicago, because like a lot of people are worried about who has a gun and who has a who. Man, I definitely empathize with that. But at the same time, it's like looking at the gun violence in Chicago. It's like it's obviously not just the black women that's being gunned down, but like the men are being gunned down the most out of every ethnic group in America right now. And it's like I guess a lot of people, a lot of guys are thinking before jumping into that situation is, man, can I come home to my family if I jump in this situation? Who before, you know what I'm trying to say, like when you jump into this situation, just what is gonna come our way. Granted, I jump into this problem.
But your protection doesn't have to be violent. Your protection could have been as easy as, you could have walked on the side of me and started talking like you knew me. And that could have steered him off. So now he ain't talking to me no more because he sees me with another man. And oftentimes men don't want to have confrontations with other men.
That's very true.
So it's multiple ways that you can provide protection.
And that's interesting because I don't think a lot of guys even think of it that way, because like the first thing instinctively is kind of violence, right? Especially when it's a situation where temperatures are rising or blood pressure are rising, and then the instinct can say, man, do I gotta fight this dude? Do I gotta pull my weapon? But as you just said, it could be something as simple as just walking beside you and just say, hey, that dude, I see what kind of situation you're in. I don't really mean no harm. I just want to make sure you cool walking to this store. That you know what? I never thought of it that way. I'm not gonna lie to you. So that's actually that's actually a really good idea. And I hope a lot of people.
I disagree. I think that's a terrible idea.
Oh.
Yeah. You can't just put yourself in other people's business. And I know in a situation where you need somebody, it's easy to be like, you should be there for me. But realistically, 9 times out of 10, if you just see someone, like a woman walking down the street, and you just decide like, oh, well, she might be in danger, I'm gonna walk with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, how could that turn out? Or you might end up being the dude that she need protection from because she feels like you being weird. So now it's another dude supposed to step in and protect her against the protector and stuff like that.
But that's not what I said. I'm talking about when you can clearly see that a woman is getting unwanted attention from somebody. It's prevalent. She's telling him, no, I'm cool. It happens a million times at the gas station.
So I will ask you this question though. So at that position where that woman is walking somewhere, it could be store, it could be to a car, wherever, but she's feeling vulnerable at this time when people are catcalling her or trying to make advances at her. She getting unwanted attention. He real does raise kind of a point, because sometimes women are like that. Women at that particular time is highly irate at that particular time. So if another man steps up next to her, it's like I'm wondering how difficult it's gonna be to have her rest. Because right now I know a lot of people like to say this masculine stuff. I don't like the masculine feminine. I personally don't use that language. But at that time, she's feeling very defensive, right? So when a man walks up next to her, no matter who it is, she may, like, what do you say? Okay, I'm gonna pose a question like this, because I'm worried about the dude that walks up next to her and then she's attacking him because she believes that everybody's an enemy at that point, because she's defensive because she's worried about these other guys. For all she knows, this other guy coming up next to her is another dude that's trying to make an advance.
I guess at the end of the day, the question is, why does it matter? Because, okay, if she's in danger, does it matter if your feelings get hurt? Or does it matter that she's protected? So, like, at the end of the day, even if she lashes out on you, that's your feelings getting hurt. That's words. Whereas we're saying this person may be in danger. Hey. So it's like, is it worth it for you to put yourself out there to try to protect that black woman, even if it might mean backlash against you, if that backlash is only words? True.
So this is why I think I want to say, in the event that this were to happen to a young lady, just be, you're right that a dude, like, he has to put his feelings out there. I can't think of the word. He has to be vulnerable. He has to be vulnerable with the woman at that particular time, and accept the fact that he's gonna receive some kind of pushback on trying to show some courtesy with this woman. But I want to say, I really want to try to get the message out there to the young ladies: is understand who your enemies are, and then just be at ease when a man comes up next to you and is just trying to help.
Easy though.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not that easy
because you never know what that man's intentions are. If I don't know what your intentions are, why am I going to be at ease as a woman? Like, I don't know if y'all understand. We always worry. Because y'all stronger than us. So at any moment, I'm not going to say it like a universal, but I'm going to say me personally, when I'm walking down the street, I'm always concerned that, like, at any given moment, y'all could just be like, okay, I feel like being on that with you. And if y'all feel like being on that with me, y'all can overpower me.
That's true.
So this is just the state of mind that we in. We have to be nervous.
Yeah.
I teach my daughter that, like, you can't just let your guard down. So, like, I'm not going to tell a woman, like, oh, be cool. His intentions are good. Recognize who your enemies are, because there are plenty of men who come at you with, like, acting like, oh, okay, I'm cool, you can let your guard down, and then those are the men that take advantage of you. The majority of women who actually are harmed, raped, killed, who are beat, is they significant other who does it. So you can't say know who your enemies are, because it don't matter how much trust or how much love or how much whatever I think that person has for me. A lot of times that's the person that does it.
I don't want to take that statement a little too far. I'm just talking about in the situation that we're in, where a woman is being.
So I think now is a good time to define what danger is.
Absolutely, because no, I agree. Like, okay, I don't even necessarily think about the idea of, like, I'm in a gas station being catcalled, because I mean that's happened to me 100 times, but I've never been touched. I've never been hurt. I mean, a guy has, like, cursed me out, called me a B word because I didn't want his number, but, like, okay, that's my, like, that didn't even affect my feelings, but that doesn't matter. From my perspective, the biggest danger to Black women is systems. It's systems in our country who are set out to sit back and separate us from Black men. It's systems in our society, like the hospital system, for instance, literally set out to protect us, and then turns around and we the number one, like, sector that dies during childbirth. Like, these systems that are putting words in our mouth, that are attacking us when we're coming to them looking for assistance. You think about the welfare system. Oh, okay, you can get all of this aid and everything else if you're not married or if you don't have a man in your house or whatever, and set up where it broke down a Black family. So I agree that, like, we have to start thinking critically about what danger really is, like, what's really harming us, what's really harming our people, and, like, not just think about it as this thing where it's Black men against Black women, because really, if we came together, we'd be dope. But these systems are putting us in a situation that are pushing us apart.
Couldn't agree more. But about danger, right? We was trying to define danger. So I want, because this is your scenario, right, that you brought up. So what about, like, what can you define what this danger was in that scenario?
So I don't know if y'all saw the video that was floating around Facebook, where it was two guys. They saw a guy in a truck. It had no windows, and he was parked outside of a school. So the guy was parked outside of school before school opened, and they was trying
in a big truck.
Yeah, and
I saw that.
And so you saw how the guys intervened and get him up out of there. That's the kind of protection that I'm talking about. It don't always have to be, you can see it. Sometimes you can see stuff clear as day. This ain't right.
Yeah.
I think a truck in front of a school, that's an easy thing though. Like, cause why is it a rape van? Basically, it's a rape van in front of the school.
True.
But it's raper vans that be in the neighborhood all the time. It's raper men that's in the neighborhood all the time. And people know them and don't say nothing.
Do you know them?
I don't know nobody that's a raper, to my knowledge. Oh. But if I did, it would be put out. And I'm not sweeping nothing under the rug, because I can tell you that I wouldn't be knowing nobody.
So let me ask you this then. What is it that you want Black men to protect you from?
Protect me from the same thing you would protect your mother from. Because you would want her to be protected.
Right. That's like you answering the question with a question. Like, I'm like, specifically, I think these conversations are important. So I think it's important that we do be, like, kind of specific. Like she said, like, there are a lot of things that are against us just being black in America. And there are a lot of things, well, the system itself is to divide us because we are stronger together. But I can't get on board with saying that you should like put yourself, especially as a young black man, you shouldn't insert yourself into these tense, these heightened situations. I think you should just value your life a little more than that because no one else will. I think that that's like hyperbole in a way. I know that it's a reality. Things like that do happen a lot. But like when I hear black women say we need black men to protect us, like what could you explain for me what that is or what that cry is for?
So answering that question specifically, I don't necessarily think it always boils down to the situation that we were just talking about. When we talk about we need black men to protect us, it's the same thing we do for y'all. So like for instance, like if a man is pulled over by the police, y'all want us to pull over and record. Y'all want us to make sure that everything goes smooth. When people speak up and say black men ain't shit, y'all want us to come up and defend y'all. When the system holds y'all back from being able to be everything y'all could be in society, y'all want black women to tuck their excellence sometimes. And I don't want to say coddle. Coddle might not be the right word, but meet y'all where y'all at instead of glowing in the glory that we've achieved for ourselves. And I think we want the same thing from y'all. When issues come up that only affect black women, we're the only ones talking about it. But at the same time, we're supposed to be there supporting white women because they're women. We're supposed to be there supporting black men because they black. But then when it's an issue that only affects black women, it's hyperbole. And that's the issue that we have. It's like, yeah, y'all not getting raped, but y'all should still be concerned about it. And not only because your mother or your sister or your child could get raped, but because rape is fucked up. Y'all shouldn't only be concerned about black women dying in childbirth because your mother, your baby, your girlfriend it affects them. You should be concerned because that shit's fucked up. And that's what we're saying is like, be as concerned for us as we are for y'all. Like when we see something it's only affecting y'all, we don't sit back and say, oh, we not concerned about it until we have a son or until we in a relationship. Like we be crying for George Floyd the way that y'all should have been crying for Sandra Bland. And that's what we saying is like, we need those names shouted. We need y'all to be just as concerned about those young ladies whose pictures are on the wall at Walmart as we are concerned about y'all dying. And that's what we don't see. We don't see the same outrage. We don't see the same outpour about, oh, these issues affect black women. We don't see y'all on our side the way we on y'all side. Because we out there arguing about gun violence because y'all the main ones affected by gun violence. We're out there arguing about the police brutality situation because y'all the main ones getting the brunt of that. We don't only say when stuff affects us the way y'all do. That's more so what I feel like it is. It's not necessarily, oh, you, and it's like when you hear about something happen with one of your homies, are you taking his side or are you trying to hear both sides and like shunning your homie because he's beating on a woman? Or is it always taking her side? Like before all of this, we just heard Joe hop on his side and say, I know both of them and I know the situation and I'm riding with him. And but men that don't know the situation gonna say, F what his girl gotta say, I'm riding with him. And that's the thing. We gonna sit here and try to figure out the truth. Whereas sometimes y'all just be on the bandwagon for the stuff that y'all care about and not the other side.
Lack of empathy, right? You have to listen to both sides in order to fully engage the situation thoroughly and justly, right? I get behind that, and then everything else that you noted as far as like systemic problems that particularly target, or I would say particularly target black women, but even more so provable that black women are most suspectable too, right? So that definitely should be at the forefront of, or that definitely should be on every platform, right? Discussing.
We shouldn't be the only ones that marches that matter to us. And that's just how it is right now. When we come out and we talking about healthcare, when we come out and we talking about issues with rape, or we talking about anything, that's a us problem. But then y'all expect us at y'all marches too. Even though we not the ones that's getting gunned down by the police. The police rarely pull me over.
I get what you're saying. I think that I can't really relate to what you're saying because I be at them spots. Like, I'm there for the Sandra Blands and the Corinne Gaines and the Breonna Taylors. Like, I be at the marches. I was at the demonstration yesterday. I don't know when this gonna come out, but Father Flager and G Herbo and them, we had a little march, a peace rally and all that. Like, and it was as many black men as women.
But was it a woman's issue or was it a universal issue that's affecting black people? That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You were at a peace rally because there's gun violence in our community, and that gun violence is primarily affecting whom?
The black community.
No, but and that's what I'm saying. You being facetious.
I'm not. No.
I'm just saying. I'm saying literally. Who is it? Like, who is it mostly affecting when we break it down to sections?
Mostly affecting black men, but black women are on the receiving end of the highest homicide amongst women in America, and it's black men's fault.
I was just gonna say who's doing it.
I mean, come on. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie about
who's killing you.
I'm not gonna lie about that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's like you said, the men. I don't want to get into specifics about which emotions are you referring to as far as men not showing up and stuff like that. I will say men need to be more participant because we all need to be more participant in all these matters regarding black folks. But at the same time, a lot of men also understand that just showing up and just marching is not really changing anything, right?
I'm not even just saying showing up and marching. Well,
I'm not saying you're wrong at all. You know what I mean? But like what needs to happen is a systemic change. What needs to happen is us really finding people that can speak for us, right, and making these things happen on our behalf, right?
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go crazy, man.
Yeah. So I wasn't being facetious. I was being literal because you asked like I understand who the victims of gun violence are primarily, which are young black men, but you said, who do it affect? And the reason I said the black community is because there are organizations comprised literally of only black mothers who have lost their kids. You know what I'm saying? Their sons and their daughters. So I can't be like, oh, it only affect us because we the ones that's dying. But you know what I'm saying? It's a situation. It literally affect all of us.
Right. I understand that, and I'm not suggesting that that's not true. But what I'm saying is, it's the reason why there's an organization of black mothers that's there is because we get behind causes.
Right.
There could also be an organization of black fathers.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. It's just we come together and we stand behind causes that affect the black community as a whole. And we come back and we get together and we support causes that affect black men specifically. But it's not the same energy on the flip side, is my point. And on the flip side, like, have you been to a breast cancer walk? Because that's something that directly affects a large percentage of black women. And I'm not suggesting that it doesn't affect the black community, but we were talking about subsections of the black community. Yeah. So that's what I said. Let's not be facetious because let's not, like, obviously black healthcare, breast cancer, those things affect the black community too. The same way that gun violence does. If something is killing a sector of our community, it affects the whole community.
And again, personally, like I do go to the breast cancer functions and stuff like that. I be running the 5Ks and all. I be wearing the pink and all that. So, and when I'm there, I see plenty of black men there. So I will ask you this. How does it look? The improvement of black male presence on black female issues. What would that look like? What would that have to look like to satisfy you?
From my perspective, a lot of it is just not belittling the issues. So like, a lot of times when we speak up about issues, you hear things like for instance, literally right now, Joe said, if you see something, react. Y'all said black men die. Black men are the victims.
We can't put our lives in those situations.
So it was automatically when she called out for in this specific situation, you could do something to protect the black woman. It was automatically a statistic about how black men are affected by things. Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. We don't necessarily do that. So we stick our necks out in a way that it just doesn't necessarily happen on the other end. Like you hear outcries from my perspective. And like you said, like if you can't relate to it, that's on you. Or not, I'm not saying on you in a negative way, but I understand the difference.
I'm with you.
But at the end of the day, if I'm speaking out and then you hear back like, oh, I can't do that because this is affecting me. Or like when women step up in life, you get men attacking them, and it's like as if nothing else, like they haven't faced anything else. It's like, I can't do that, I can't do what you do, or this anger, this jealousy in a way that's just like, can we get some kudos for the fact that we overcome the stuff that we've overcome too? And so I guess part of it for me is, one, not being defensive, understanding that we all in it together. So if I'm stepping out and I want to support my thing or something that's affecting me, or I'm asking you to support something that's affecting me, don't hit me with, oh, something else is affecting me, so we need to support that. And then
the
two,
tit for tat.
the tit for tat is messy and it's ignorant.
And also that if I'm speaking out on the issue, that I'm not directly speaking to you, but you can't say that it doesn't happen because I'm speaking from my own anecdotal.
Right. Saying that it, like, and then I'm not down in what you said, but people say that all the time. It doesn't relate to me, or that doesn't pertain to me. So tell your guys to come out too next time you go. Make sure it's the same type of force and presence when it's a black person, when it's a black female issue, as it is if it's a issue that mainly affects black men.
And I get that, but that's the thing that I wanted to get to, because when we do show support, when black women need support, I do feel like black men are there. I don't think it looks the same because everyone else isn't there. But I do believe that black men are present.
Yeah, when I'm at the breast cancer walk, I don't see black, like, I'm not gonna say I don't see any, but it's definitely not the numbers that you see for other issues that affect black men.
It's just the marketing sometimes. Like, so when George Floyd died, like, it was literally on every screen, on every device, 24/7. We didn't have nothing else to look at. So when they was like, we downtown, everybody was up in arms, we downtown. But for a breast cancer event, like, if no one I know tells me personally, like, yo, it's an event, that's not going to be on my timeline. It ain't going to pop up. It ain't going to be an ad on my banner. That's what I'm saying.
But that's going back to what I said. When it doesn't pertain to you personally, you don't care.
You missing what I'm saying.
I'm not saying don't hear about it.
I'm saying I'm not informed.
You just said if somebody don't tell me personally that I'm not informed. But breast cancer awareness month is in October.
Right.
So everybody knows when that is. So you can be involved if you want to be involved.
Can I say something? Did you know that it was in October?
I personally did not know.
Did you know that? I didn't know it was. That's what I'm
saying.
Even
if you don't know when it is, it to me, it boggles the mind to say that the awareness just isn't there, because at the end of the day, they shut down the entire Lakeshore Drive for some of these brands, for at least one of the big ones that I go to. Then they have the one that what's her name does. She talks about it on the radio every morning. Kendra G. She gone now, but she would talk about it on the radio every morning. It was commercials about it, everything. So like that boggles the mind to me, the idea that you just didn't know about it. And then at the end of the day, part of why the George Floyd situation circulated the way it did is because people shared it, people were concerned about it, people spoke up about it. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure during Breast Cancer Month, there's something in your feed that shows something about breast cancer that you could have shared, and the algorithm would have figured out, like, oh, you interested in that, and then it would have got put on your radar.
I say this: the only reason I be knowing that it's Breast Cancer Month is the NFL players wear pink shoes. Right?
Oh,
but that's it.
A good point.
That's it. So that's what I'm saying. It's like if you throwing a party and you just get mad because ain't nobody show up. It's like, you didn't even invite me.
But you saw the breast cancer pink on their shoes, so you could have went out and said, okay, where it's at. That boggles the mind. At the end of the day, I've never seen anything about them turning the River Green for St. Patrick's Day, but I know every year they're going to have a parade downtown for St. Patrick's Day, and if I need to know how to get there, I know how to find out. You know, every year they're going to have a thing for Breast Cancer Month. You don't need to, you know what I'm saying? You don't need to see it come across your feed to actually be concerned. That's facetious to me. I don't know.
We got smartphones. If you want to find out, you can find out. And at the end of the day, like I said, like, the reason George Floyd was on your feed because you was concerned about it. There's plenty of people where George Floyd one passing they wasn't on their stuff.
But that's the thing. Like, I didn't look for the George Floyd thing. Like, it literally was on the timeline. People talked about it. That's what I'm saying. If breast cancer, and it is an issue, like I said, I'll be there. But that's through organizations that notify me about things like that. But if I'm not a part of those organizations, I can't say that average man gonna see that come across they.
Because he's not part of the organization.
Well, it's not the
or
organization.
He not part of the. He not
algorithm.
talking about it. He not concerned about it, and that's the point. If you're not concerned about it, it's not gonna come across your way. But if you wanted to find out, you could.
No, and I think we should just take a moment to relax and understand. Look, because
my favorite word is relax. I just want to make sure you remember that.
Yeah, so let's just take a moment to relax and just look at it logically, right?
Because we not.
I mean, I'm sitting here telling you, if we don't have access to, I have to. It's my perspective. If we don't have access readily to the information, how would we know when to look for it? I'm just trying to be reasonable. Because you keep saying like, oh, well, you know, they always have events. You should just be looking for it like we just finna Google.
But that's not what I said. I said, it's just like I said, it's just like St. Patrick's Day. It's just like anything else. You specifically said you know something is happening with breast cancer because they wear the stuff on their shoes.
Right.
So at that time, if you were legitimately concerned about, oh, let me figure out what else I could do. Yeah, you could Google it. And at that point that you did the Facebook search or whatever, the algorithm is going to change for stuff to come across your feed.
Right.
But to me, it's insufficient. It is not. First of all, I take major issue with the idea that we needed to relax. I take major issue that we needed to think about it logically. I take major issue with the idea that we needed to be reasonable as I sit here calm with my hands folded. Nonetheless, the suggestion that because it doesn't passively come across your desk means you should not care about it or approach it or jump at the idea of being more involved, that's the problem, right? We're saying that y'all need to be more than just passive, clickbait type people. We want y'all to be concerned.
All right.
And concern means go look it up and get involved.
So I'm going to ask you a question now. What is the most impactful thing anybody can do to for breast cancer awareness? The most impactful thing.
I'm not going to suggest that I know everything about breast cancer, and I'm not going to suggest that breast cancer is affecting me personally in that way. I was giving an example.
It affects all of us. I think we all here, all of us know somebody. I was giving an
example in terms of impactful. I'm not the type that's gonna sit there and donate to a cause the same way because you never know where that money is going.
True.
I would think that the best way to do it is literally just to share things. It's literally just to get the awareness out there. I know people that have been affected by it and to tell stories about like early mammograms and things like that, getting people to the doctor earlier to make sure that they catching it earlier. All of that stuff is important. So I'm not going to tell you the best way. I feel like you got to figure out the best way. Like I said, I don't put my dollars into researchers' hands because you never know what that's going to go. But I know that part of the reason I do the breast cancer walk is because it's awareness. The more people you see out there, the more you're sharing, the more you're involved in it. And part of that is you getting in, like that could just be you being more involved with it on social media and getting the awareness out there. Because some Black women just don't even know before they get diagnosis that this might affect them.
Josie,
what?
Do you what the question I asked was, what do you think is the most impactful thing that we all can do as a community for?
I mean, I agree. I agree with her because I mean, even going to the walks, even if you haven't had anybody that went through it personally, just you being there is a form of you being an ally.
Okay. Rod, you want to add? Just close it out so I can.
The most impactful thing you could do, I guess, like I said, you gotta talk about it because if don't nobody know, they don't know.
Yeah, I was pretty much gonna say the exact same thing as that. I think I'm not. The walks is great. All of these things is for the visibility and everybody showing up for the awareness and stuff like that. That's definitely completely fine. I personally believe the best thing we can do is learn as much about it individually and then talk about it and then share the knowledge. Mm-hmm. Because like I said, again, nothing against anything that you did on the behalf of breast cancer awareness. I personally think that us getting that information out there is the most important thing ever that we can do to, get that message out there that women need to go out early for these checkups to the doctor. So I want to get I want to put the message on the board here and want to have a quick conversation because this is what I found, right? Right here, we are at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, aka the CDC, and we're looking at a chart of the leading causes of death of females, non-Hispanic Black, in the United States for 2018. And this stuff doesn't change that much from then until now. Well, obviously, this is pre-COVID, so a lot of COVID cases, but that's a whole another can of worms. I don't want to talk about the. I ain't gonna say too much about 19 right now, but so right now we looking at all ages, female, and number one is heart disease. And this is the same for everybody, so it's definitely not an indictment on Black women for going out through heart disease. Then cancer, which is a lot of it is what we were just talking about, right? Breast cancer, stroke, diabetes, Alzheimer's, unintentional injuries. So that's referring to like mostly car crashes, which is way more prevalent than I actually realized. Actually, chronic lower respiratory disease, kidney disease. Can anybody help me with this one?
I can't even see that.
Septicemia. Is that a word? And then we got
My pussy.
and then we got hypertension. So from here, this is all ages, and I would say this isn't telling us everything that we need to know, right? So let's go a little bit deeper here. We're looking at by age group. Then things change a lot from this point on. So from ages 1 to 44, we actually see unintentional injuries being the leading cause of death with Black women. So again, these are I would say anything from car accidents to falls to all sorts of things. So it's a lot going. Beg your pardon.
Gun violence.
We'll get to that. All type of stuff. But it's not gun violence.
Okay.
Ages 45 to 84 is cancer. And I personally know my auntie. She passed of one of my aunties passed of breast cancer. Actually, a little bit before this. Actually, it was around a little bit before this. But my other aunt, she passed of cancer around in her mid 40s. So I think of most people that's watching this program right now they personally know somebody else, especially was affected by cancer, or a Black woman especially. And then heart disease, and this heart disease just is hitting everybody, and that's largely to do with people's dieting, and possibly to do with what they doing to your food in America. But that's another can of worms we don't want to get into.
Because hearts just can't hold out for 85 years. You got 85 plus on there for heart disease.
You're doing pretty good for 80. Yeah, doing 80. Yeah. So I was,
get a heart some slack.
So this is where I get the word right. We right now, and then we from 1 to 19, the second leading cause of death for Black women is homicide, and that's a huge problem, right? And we're gonna get to that. So, and then cancer for 20 to 44. So that made it, in heart disease and then cancer, it's kind of flip flop for the most part for the rest of these ages. So I'm not gonna spend all day on this. Like I say, anybody that's watching this, you have it right here. You can go to CDC to scroll down and read more into it. What I gathered from this was, depending on how deep you want to take this conversation. On the surface, we can chop it up as y'all are clumsy. However, applying just a tad bit of empathy, we will quickly notice homicide is on that list and wonder who the aggressors are. Needless to say, it's the culture that is failing these girls. Despite that being as painful as it is to hear, it is undeniable. However, I refuse to have this conversation without first acknowledging the government's and our oppressors' involvement in stripping away of Black culture's ability to construct an environment for the women to nest in. So, my next question for everybody is, what influences the danger that serves to harm Black women?
That's tough to me because I don't want to blame. I can't blame nobody if you gone. I guess the biggest thing for me is like people gotta take responsibility for their own actions.
True.
Regardless of what the culture is suggesting, regardless of what the media is suggesting, regardless of what the systems are suggesting, you don't get a right to touch nobody. You don't get a right to use nobody for your own liking. So I don't want to necessarily talk about influences because it seems like an excuse to me.
Okay. I kind of worry about that though, because like we definitely can acknowledge a certain amount of we definitely have to acknowledge that there's accountability that we have to embrace, right, in order to essentially be strong enough to move this culture or shift this culture in the right direction, right? We have to start taking accountability for our own actions, especially for the deaths of these women due to gun violence. But it's just hard for me to call it like kind of just disregard it as an excuse because these were like literal. It was a literal blatant attack. Now we can argue if it was intended for it to turn out like this, but I would say I kind of just have a tad of a bit of an issue just sweeping this under the rug as to say this was just an excuse because I'm trying to say it's just a little bit disingenuous in my opinion to disregard the systemic issues that was set in place for Black people to essentially not be able to create something that's well established enough for women to be able to create a nest with, right?
So can you ask that question? I think I got lost. I think I got lost. So ask the question again. Is her response to the question is what you referencing, correct?
She answered the question to the best of her ability. It's just that it was kind of she's kind of disregarding the question because she believes that influence is more so our accountability.
Can you ask the question again?
So the question was, what influences the danger that serves to harm Black women?
America. We have to address that. Like you said, there are systems, and we're all accountable. It's the culture, right? And I don't think
what culture, which
American culture,
American culture.
Yeah. So for Black people to be at the bottom, right, and then to divide the Black community between men and women and everything in between.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot more to it. Yeah.
So if you put pressure on it's always going to be pressure on the people at the bottom. Right. But we held that up for hundreds of years because we was together. So once you separate us, you know what I'm saying? They back's not as strong as ours. So they're going to be the first ones to go. That's the plan. It was always the plan because I don't think America really cares about the plight of Black women. You know what I'm saying? I don't think America really cares about the plight of the Black community in general. But if you tell our Black women, like, oh no, y'all do this on your own. You got this. Don't look to them for anything. And then that same system is the one that's reaching out trying to crush you. You know what I'm saying? That's why they feel so alone. That's why they feel so unprotected.
Yeah.
Because that's the game plan. They just run in plays.
Yeah.
But I think, again, we all accountable. Even the Black community, we accountable because we are party to it. We are aware of it, especially for those of us who are educated. So it's on us, and that's the reason why I thank you for having shows like the podcast. We need to have more of these conversations because Black men are accountable, Black women are accountable. The only we can't say that these kids aren't our best shot. So we need to do everything that we can to protect them so they don't have to go through the same things that we going through. I think the best way for us to do that is Black unity. But as for right now, if you're asking for what influenced our current situations, we are a part of that also.
Yes.
As Black men and Black women.
Yes.
So it's a lot of room for improvement.
No objections? Yeah, you got something to say.
I don't necessarily have any objections to what he said. I mean, everything he said is right. Like everything, it's a lot of different things that went forward to like break us down, to bring us apart, everything else. I guess my response was specifically when we think about that second highest rate for 1 to 19-year-olds, from my perspective, is you don't get no excuse for homicide. You don't get no excuse. Like if you acting out, like there's no excuse because at the end of the day, the majority of these deaths are like because of the over sexualization of black women and like black men feeling, or not even just black men, but men in general feeling like they can use black women's bodies.
Chauvinism.
Not even chauvinism, like just that you can use black women's bodies for your leisure, and that's just not the case. Yeah. And it doesn't matter how sexualized, not because at the end of the day I'm a bad bitch, like I'm sexy, but keep your hands to yourself. So like that's the part that I can't. That's the part that like. It's a disconnect for me. So, I mean, I agree when we talk about like overall the protection of black women and what has like put us in this position. Yes, the systems. Yes, the culture that that society is pushing on us. Yes, a lot of external factors. But I refuse to give anybody an excuse for taking a baby, taking a child, taking a woman and doing what you will with them, or taking someone that you love and hurting them. Like to me, like there's no excuse for that. When we talk about homicides and all of that stuff, there, like I don't care what was going through your head, you don't get no pass.
Boy.
Congratulations, you got your first boy. Yeah, I can agree more. Somebody you disagree with that? So who's gonna ruin the party? All right, okay. Yeah, man. So what I found was, as I said earlier, the most obvious observation would be black culture being the primary aggressor to black women. It is the very system we have adopted that contributes to the ignorance and our actions resulting in injury, the unhealthy foods that we take pleasure in passing down to our daughters, and brainwashing the boys to handle the verbal disagreements with gun violence. However, performing our due diligence, we will learn about food insecurity in relation to black economics, the system of miseducation contributing to our unwillingness to just read shit, and even the capitalists that use black voices to echo black degeneracy for monetary gain, despite the influence it breeds upon our community. Solutions. This is the hard part. What can a black community do to preserve the security and sanity of the women and girls? What you talking? Hold on. You just messed up. Talking too much.
Yeah, I feel like we just gotta be there for each other. I feel like we just gotta. I feel like so honestly, like 1,000 billion million%, men gotta be okay with balance. Like at the end of the day, from my perspective, a lot of what's keeping black women and black men apart right now is just the dynamic where black women are able to reach success at a different level and sooner than black men, and that is affecting the egos of black men and pushing us away even further. And I feel like I don't see as many black women walking around with a chip on their shoulder that, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, so I can't associate with you. But I see a lot of black men that have that mentality when they make it. Yeah. But then when black women are reaching out to even the people that are below them, there's like this ego, and there's like this, like you hear the story, or like, just this ignorance. Like you hear the stories about the men driving their girl's car around while she at work, and just like the blatant disrespect. Like it's like, to me, it's just like I feel like if we could just get past that like idea that black women are harming the community some sort of way by having success, then I think we would be better.
My God, don't get me started on that. That's like one of the weakest arguments I ever see brothers be making in these YouTube spaces, that with women overachieving in education and becoming breadwinners, and like all these successes that they're bringing into the community, that's somehow affecting black culture and black men in any negative way whatsoever. Like, it is in my opinion, right? It is in my opinion that even though we can say that the traditional nuclear family is the way to go in America, or whatever like that, that women like the idea of staying home and taking care of the kids, and men go out there working 60 hours a week and all that stuff, whatever. The fact of the matter is, with black people being Umar Johnson, I don't know how y'all feel about Umar Johnson. Umar Johnson said black people, or the black community, holds half of a percent point in wealth in America, we need everybody bringing home some bacon. You feel me? Preferably turkey bacon. We need like everybody, all hands on deck. And then for the gentleman, hey, pick up the broom. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, like don't let that woman do all this work at the job. Do a 9 to 5 and come home and shit need to be swept and the baby's diapers need to be changed. Yo, pick up a broom and do your job too. You feel me? Like we had to be doing this together now, right? So like I said, for all these gentlemen out here on YouTube talking about women got to be more feminine. No, our women are already feminine. Our women and don't complain about women being masculine because there's no choice for these women. Like I think black women are like I think what was the stat? I would say one out of every 4 women are being proposed to or getting married and stuff like that, which is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? And it's like if a man gonna sit here and indict women of all these things, we have to hold ourselves accountable for the things for the failures that we are enacting upon the black women also. So again, appreciate these women for what they contribute, especially monetarily.
As far as sanity, I would say the black unity. As far as security, we got a lot of work to do because it's not as simple as people want to make it seem. There are a lot of things at play contributing to the situations that we're dealing with. Branding in the black community, which is the culture.
Branding as far as labeling, or what do you mean by branding?
No, I mean branding as far as marketing.
Marketing,
like how we sell ourselves.
Okay. And the crazy part about that is, sorry to cut you off, but like part of that branding is the fact that we just don't have any other options a lot of the time. We're out here, we're rappers. We out here shaking our butts and we're being half dressed because we have to make the bread. You know what I'm saying?
Who do that?
And even if you do that mean you less worthy of being protected? Even if you
I didn't say nothing about protection.
I'm asking, what is the value? Like, what does it matter what the branding is? Is that, I mean, what I took from what you said was more around like society needs to see us a certain way for certain things to happen how we want it. Bullshit. Like at the end of the day, regardless if I'm shaking my behind or I'm at church or I'm at work, I still deserve to be protected. Regardless of what we're doing, regardless if we're rapping or anything else, we shouldn't be getting gunned down. Like I take issue with the idea that black people have to be a monolith in order to get the things that we deserve in society.
So I wasn't saying that we needed to be a monolith. I do disagree with like the way that you present yourself affects how people value you.
It shouldn't. I'm not saying it doesn't.
But it does.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm saying it shouldn't.
But
and at the end of the
does.
day, you lose out. From my perspective, you lose out by making snap judgments about people based on what they present to you.
I mean, but it's natural to be.
Yeah, heuristics
prejudiced.
are natural. But at the end of the day, that shouldn't go back to how people are protected. That shouldn't go back to like the systems that we're talking about. A person shaking their behind should be just as safe from early childbirth, like early death from childbirth, as anybody else. A person that is at church should be just as protected from walking down the street and not getting gunned down as anybody else. It doesn't, like, their branding doesn't matter to keeping them safe. And I feel like that's part of what we need to change. Like this idea that, oh, because you see black people as dangerous, or because you see black people as ratchet, they not deserving of you cleaning up their streets. I don't care how you see these communities. You need to put the resources into it.
Right. So when I'm talking about branding, I'm not speaking exclusively to outside the community. I mean, like, to ourselves, like in the community. Like, I understand that other people they gonna think what they gonna think. You can argue them down with facts, but I'm saying, like, in our community, the way that we brand ourselves, like you said, every young boy want to be a gangster. Why? That's what's marketed to him.
Yeah.
Like, in order for a young boy to feel like he's closer to being a man, you're going to take the gangster route because that's what you know, because that's what's marketed to you. In order for a young girl to feel like she's a woman, she has to be sexualized because that's what's marketed to them. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about.
Where you getting this from?
Yeah, I don't.
Where you getting this from?
Where am I getting what from?
What
Like
you just
you're
said.
saying, what you're saying.
Life.
Yeah,
But that's not my life.
I don't want my life either.
Okay.
We had the Claire Huxtables and everything else,
Right.
and like it's not even.
That's not even that. I can't tell you that that's nobody's life that I know.
Yeah. Even like rappers, there are people on both ends of the spectrum. From my perspective, it's never been about the marketing. It's been about opportunities. Like the reason why the young boys out here picking up guns is because it's quicker and easier to make money picking up a gun than it is to go. Like literally, these boys are out here like, hey, I'll give you this gun. Go drop a body for $150 because that is the easiest and quickest way for them to make $150. Like that, and that's because there are no opportunities for real, legitimate, successful jobs in these communities.
That's true.
It's not just an issue of marketing because at the end of the day, like there's plenty of television out here. There's plenty of things in the media and everything else showing us like we just had a black president. Let them tell it. That was supposed to solve all the problems. That's like marketing. I'm not gonna say like we can't do more to show more to our youth. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not suggesting that we shouldn't do more. I definitely believe you lead by example, and like the best thing we can do once we get successful is to stay in the community.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, we can't pretend that it's just like, oh, I saw Obama today, so I'm gonna go and do the right thing. Because what does it look like when I go try to do the right thing? Like my mama need money right now. I'm 13. I can't go get a job because I can't work this early. Her job is paying her minimum wage, so now I have to figure out how to take care of her too. Or my mom put me out because she can't have all of us in the crib, or whatever else it is. That's the problem. Is that these communities are unstable, not just that they don't know how to act.
Oh yeah, okay. I want to say that wasn't exactly what you meant by like the marketing and like the self like branding. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I do understand that y'all ladies, this is not y'all realities, obviously, but what he's speaking to was something that we do see on TV. You know what I mean? We do see, even though, and I do understand this stuff can be pushed in our directions purposefully. You know what I'm saying? But we like, what's that girl name? Sugary. What's her
Suki.
name? Yeah, Suki.
Sukiano.
You don't even know her name, so how prevalent could it be?
I'm a boomer, so I'm just I'm always out the mix. You feel me?
Same.
But at the same time, you still is for a lot of people. You're right. It's not prevalent to our lives whatsoever. But at the same time, a young impressionable minds, they do follow these types of. A lot of them, not all of them, obviously not all of them, follow these types of people. You know what I'm saying? And black people, and the gentlemen. You know, we are very prone to that type of lifestyle. Also, we see it all the freaking time. But I mean, am I getting what you saying wrong? Really?
Nah, you're not getting it wrong. But it's just you can't. So that's what I'm saying. You said we grew up with the Claire Huxtables and everything, but everybody didn't grow up with the Huxtables. You know what I'm saying? Some of our young black girls are growing up with the Kardashians. Some of our young black boys are growing up with Young Boy. You know what I'm saying? Like
The Kardashians not black though. So if we're talking about branding, but I'm saying if we're talking about branding, I just don't understand. He said, what can the black community do to improve? And at the end of the day, like rappers are rapping about their reality. I'm not going to ever censor their art because it's affecting the kids. Sometimes they not, but I'm not gonna censor their art because it's affecting the kids. I'm gonna talk to the parents and say, hey, maybe you should cut on some Gracie's Corner instead of the NBA YoungBoy or whatever. Like right. It's not just the issue of what's out there in the media because we have control over that as a community, and like we shouldn't be attacking artists like Suki. I laugh at her; she's funny to me. Like that's not my daughter won't see it. And even if she does see it, she'll laugh at it too. It'll be funny to her. It won't be a lifestyle for her.
I think you're just a smart person. You know what I mean? And you're smart enough not to do something like that.
So are you saying that most women aren't smart?
And
I didn't say. I'm talking about.
And are you saying that unintelligent people don't know how to parent? Because everybody's not going to be intelligent, but like parenting is going to be. You have to make choices as a parent. You have to make choices as a parent, and like everybody knows
smart choices as a parent too, right?
And you have to be careful, particularly with social media and everything else. So like, it doesn't matter how much we say, Rappers aren't going anywhere.
True.
Strippers aren't going anywhere.
Wait, well, hold on.
Prostitutes aren't going
Now
anywhere.
we can change, because this is what we're talking about, right? We're talking about this branding. We can change what these rappers are saying, because we can choose. And when
Changing what they saying is not changing that they're a rapper.
But even if
No,
we
that's not- no,
we
but
can't change
no,
what
that-
they saying because they have the First
I'm talking about the
Amendment.
message we're talking about. Like, what they can be
We
a rapper.
can't change it. That's my point. We can't change it. Like, yes, artists can come out and decide to change, right? Like, that's fine. But there are always going to be ignorant rappers out there.
True.
Just like there are the blade cutting people on the white people's side, right?
True.
Like, they have these things. These things exist, right? Like, the issue isn't that they exist. The issue is how we're letting it impact us.
Yep.
So having more parenting classes, having, like
Yeah,
I
there you
said,
go.
professionals come back into the community and say, like, this is attainable to you.
Yeah.
This isn't like, because part of the issue right now is the narrative that, like, when you get some sort of success, you bounce. And that's what we do. We bounce.
Yeah, that's
and so
horrible.
at the end of the day, what are we leaving in these communities? It's not fair to say, like, oh, you're smart, that's so your kids are going to be different. No, I'm smart, so I'm gonna go back into the communities and go encourage them to do the same thing I did.
And what's crazy is, you see what happens to our smart people, our gifted, our high earning people. They go off into these other communities, right? And then that wealth that they accrue is being spread out and bounced within those communities,
and not back into the
But
community
not-
that they came from.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
but I don't think we can, like, at the end of the day, whatever negative influences that are out there, they're out there. We have to figure out how to keep it from the youth. And that's not going to just be an issue of marketing or branding or media, or, like, social media is going to be out there. They can figure out how to get to it. We have to figure out how to, like how to get them to understand that this isn't the life that you, and even if it is the life that you go down, you don't shoot people at the same time, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it can't just be an issue of controlling what they see, because you're never going to be able to control that. You're never going to be able to control what they see. You're never going to be able to stop people from speaking on either, like, you know, if we talking about Dirk, if we talking about what's the boy name who died,
Juice
Vine. Yeah, if we talking about King Vine, that was their reality. So who are we to come out and say, hey, don't get rich off your reality? That's effed up. That's effed up. And at the end of the day, as many of these kids that see Young Vine, that see King Vine, or that see Dirk, or see whoever, they see LeBron. They see other successful men that aren't going that route.
True.
And they hear these things. So it's not an issue of what they see. It's the issue of, like, and LeBron came from these communities too. It's not an issue of what they see. It's what they have access to. It's what they have the opportunities to get. So it's not like, it's not just, I don't think it's as simple as trying to, like, attack the rappers. I don't like that narrative. I think it's more divisive than anything. I think we need to go back and we need to teach people in our communities and stop pretending that, like, they have all the answers, that they have all the access, and they just choosing to make dumb choices.
So when I was talking about Brandon, I was speaking more so of, like, what you saying is knowing that there are other avenues. I was a less fortunate youth.
All right.
At one point in an at-risk neighborhood. But it was people around that showed me, like, bro, you don't have to kill somebody for $100.
Yeah.
You can cut grass. You can take the trash out. You know what I'm saying? You can do carpentry, things like that. But that's only because I saw people being successful at that. So you can't be like, yo, don't sell drugs, go work at Walmart. And who do you know who's worked at Walmart who's not still working at Walmart? You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to show the youth a way to be successful that's attractive to them. Like, show them, like, bro, you can sell food on a food truck and you can own 6 trucks, make 6 figures, you know what I'm saying? But they have to see it to where it's actually attractive to go that route, because we have a lot of exceptional youth in these at-risk communities. And they just don't have no guidance. They don't have no direction. They don't have a North Star.
Yeah.
I like those words way better than branding. I love it.
But that's all branding, though.
I don't, branding just sounds so just generalized to me. You know what I mean? When we think about the word branding, as we say, what can the Black community do? It just seems, like I said, like it goes back to that idea of a monolith. But I totally agree with the idea of, like, guidance, direction, just like showing people, and I don't even know if it has to be attractive to them, but just showing people that there are other avenues, that there are other ways other than doing it one way.
The biggest problem I have with the main reason I brought it up is regarding the rapping and all that stuff, and even like I'll put it this way, like the OnlyFans type stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like pimping. You know what I'm saying? Because the people at the top of those markets are guess who? You know what I'm saying?
Who am I to say that somebody thick as ever can't go make money off that? From my perspective, you can't make people do what you want to do. You can't say people only worthy of excellence because they doing it the way you want to do it.
Well,
I don't condone it. I don't do it myself, but that doesn't mean that I knock another person for doing it.
Yeah, well, you know, and this is not an indictment on the people. I'm trying not to make maybe this is sounding like an indictment on the people that participate, but like as I said, I'm just be aware that who's making the real money off of our bodies, and I'm not just talking about your naked bodies. I'm talking about the actions you're partaking in that's actually influencing the culture, right?
But isn't that every job?
It's definitely I mean,
who's really making the money off this? Who's really making the money off when I get up and go to work every day? It ain't me. I'm making a tiny portion of that. We all getting pimped at the end of the day. It's just they just decided to do it the way they want to do it.
I'll give you that. So what I gathered was knowledge is wealth. The generational curses won't get broken until we open our mouths and point out the real enemies outside and within our groups. Not so much in generalizations without the proper adjective, as that will lump real allies in with the enemy and complicate the union. We have to exercise good faith conversations and empathize with each other at all times, and perhaps even sympathize when it feels right. That's what we need to do for these black women. Any closing statements from anybody? All right, there you go.
Boy.
I mean, I wanted to say, I just wanted to give her the opportunity first.
Okay, y'all, you ladies first. Okay, yeah, gentlemen, my bad. Joe, you got something closing?
No, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, okay, she cool.
Yeah, like I said, she said it as simple as it could be said. Are we better together?
Oh, ultimately, the first light at the end of the tunnel in all of our lives came from between the hips of a black woman. Black women, protect your temple. Black men, let go of your anger and stand guard of the mothers of humanity. I catch you on the flips. Oh, whoa! I keep forgetting this part. Hey, any of y'all got like social medias and stuff like that? Some of them.
No.
Will, I know you be on live all the time.
Hey, like it or not, at the Great 3 Willie, find me Instagram, all that.
The great. All right, we're gonna put this. We're gonna put links in the descriptions. Y'all gonna get some. Y'all she ain't got no none. You know, no type.
Don't even look for me. I'm not gonna add you.
Okay. All right. Like I said, this has been the Chicago Black Delegation podcast, and I've been Higher Thinking. Can't wait to see y'all again. Catch you on the flip side.